What is going on, people? And we are back with another video. As you can see, I have a bike here today, and not just any old bike. We got ourselves an electric bike. This is the aventon Adventure 3. This is the third generation of this bike. It is considered a fat tire e-bike. Yes, people, we have quote unquote upgraded to electric bike. And I say quote unquote because we still do rock our Trek Dual Sport Gen 3, especially for more summer ride and stuff like this. But I got this bike to accomplish two things. The first one is I still like bike riding and I wanted to bike ride. And the second one is daily exercise. I use this bike as a commuter bike. I commute back and forth to work, even during, yes, as you can see, it is the cold months up here in Michigan. And yes, I do use it to commute back and forth to work. I usually ride for a good amount of the week. There's certain conditions on why I choose to ride and when I don't choose to ride. I have been riding this thing brand new from the shop from 0 miles all the way up to the 253 mile it currently has right now. And I can tell you without a doubt, this has been a wonderful experience for me. I'm a bigger, heavier set guy, so that is how we're gonna look at this bike. I know there's all types of review out there about the bike front forklift, the seat post suspension, and all of that. I'm gonna take this from a big man perspective. The fork suspension is super important. You can definitely feel it working when you're hitting those bumps or jumping off those curves or riding down the regular road. Or in my case, when you're hitting the street and you got the speed bumps sometimes, things of that nature, you can feel that front fork suspension working really hard. Even the seat drop post, you constantly feel that. And those are the things you really want to take and notice of, especially when you're hitting that bump. Because a lot of times you get really nervous that if you hit a bump too hard and you're really heavy, that you'll start breaking the spokes on the bike. And that's not even a nervous thing for me. That is something I did go through with my other Trek where it had no front fork suspension at all, and I constantly broke spokes. When you're a heavy rider, those are just things that sometimes you kind of have to really know the bike for. Now, this bike here has a 400-pound capacity, meaning you can be up to 400 pounds or you can put things up to about 400 pounds and it works out. The rack has a 60-pound capacity. I haven't truly tried that. That's going to be something for the summertime because as I do ride to work, I'm very layered up. I have my book bag on because I have to put my clothes somewhere when I do get to work. So those are things that's kind of truly kind of important to me, especially when you're biking to work almost every day, with those certain caveats we'll talk about later. This bike is in one of my favorite colors. It has like a greenish type color. And as you know, I love green. If you don't, now you do know. I absolutely love green color. It is one of the best colors you can ever buy. And it has nothing to do with money. It has everything to do with nature. I'm just a really huge fan of how green looks. This bike comes with brake actuators. As you can see, maybe it comes with blinkers. It also comes with a headlight display that's pretty good for the most part. I don't have any truly complaints about it. I have tested some other bikes that didn't come with that, and I actually went out and got my own brake actuator, blinkers, and things of that nature. The helmet I currently ride is one that I ride for my snowboard just because it's truly cold outside with my ski mat. So I deal with the cold a little bit different in layers. If somebody want to hear about that, maybe I'll make a short video about that. Clearly, this is not what I dress to ride just because this wouldn't be enough due to the wind chill, basic cold weather, all of those factors. Now, I've been riding it for 200 miles and I've had a problem with it. I think my first day of riding, for some reason, I popped the tire, it got a staple in it, got it refixed, no issues with that. I've also had some errors on here. One about the brake actuators. I brought it into the shop. They said they couldn't replicate it. I did get that error again, but it didn't happen again. And I don't know where it's truly coming from. So I can't say it's necessarily the bike. It might have been me just dealing with the bike normally. I will say this bike comes with a lot of smart features. And as you know, I'm a fan of technology and how it works. One of those features is something you currently are hearing right now. It has a lock feature. So if you don't have to have this on by default. I just have it turned on. If the bike, for some reason, after you take the battery out or if you power it down, if for some reason the bike moves, or if you unfortunately move the bike, and unfortunately if you move the bike, you'll see that constant beeping we heard right there where it just beep, 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 really annoying. sometimes, especially when you're just trying to do stuff, you gotta kind of turn the bike on. But it's something I've gotten used to, and the bike locking feature is really good. There's one time where I went to work and I kind of forgot my lock. And unfortunately, I had no way to lock up my bike. I was super nervous. I took out the battery, and just knowing that somebody would have to literally pick the bike up because the wheel wouldn't move, there's no battery in here for them to turn it on, gave me a lot of feeling security. Now, the bike does have a nice screen built into it. It does have a ton of good smart features. It tracks your ride. It does have a battery. The battery does unlock, but it doesn't do it with a key. It does have a software unlock, and that can come with its own set of problems because if the software messed up, there could be potential case that you cannot get the battery out. I don't currently know of a way you can get the battery out without the software working. There might be a way. I just don't know of it. Aventon is a very reputable brand, and that was super important for me choosing my bike. As a big guy, I noticed that I do a lot of damage to a bike just because all the weight you can potentially put on it, that everybody else is not putting on it, the weight they're probably most likely not putting on it during their testing, and there's going to be things that normally wouldn't break that might break on you. And it was important to me to choose a bike that had local support, meaning I can go get it fixed somewhere locally, they can source the parts locally, and the brand is not going to go away and the battery is going to be non-usable in the next couple of years. I do plan on making this my number one way of getting to work, as currently it's technically my number one way, but because of the code, clearly there's going to be days I just simply can't ride. Here's what I like about this. On this bike, the tire doesn't look like they're flat the second I get on. And that might not necessarily even have nothing to do with the bike. It might just be due to the tire itself, and it's not actually affecting it. But it's that look, especially when you get on the bike, just makes you sometimes nervous when you hit those bumps. This bike, I don't have that problem at all. It looks perfectly fine when I get on it. Tires don't look like they're about to go flat right away. Great. I also chose this bike because it's one of their more newer bikes. It has a cadence sensor and it has a torque sensor. Now, that's important because when we get into riding, the difference is a torque sensor makes you feel like more of a traditional bike, and I can validate that because while I'm riding in the wintertime, I use cadence sensor. Between the wind and the resistance of the snow, it's just so much to try to pedal through. And my goal when I get to work is to get to work as fast as I can with minimum effort. Well, yes, minimum effort. And why do I need minimum effort? Because I do not want to be really sweaty when I get to work. The bike advertised, I think it's 68 miles on the lowest pedal assist in the greatest conditions, probably not at my weight. I had two e-bikes before this. One just didn't work out at all. The other one was complete lie. The advertising was not even nowhere near true or what it did. This bike does not advertise what it does on the highest pedal assist in worst conditions because that just don't look good for the company. It doesn't matter though. I did. And at my current weight, 330 some pounds, riding in somewhat good condition, I was able to achieve 20 miles on pedal assist 3, level 3 turbo, riding around. I was able to achieve 20 miles at my current weight. Now, when I ride to work, I'm probably able to achieve more closely around 13 to 14 miles going on my way to work. And that's in non-ideal conditions. That's in conditions like we have now. A ton of snow, riding when it's cold, the battery performance. And now it was important to me to get a bike that can do at least 20 miles on the highest pedal assist because I want to know if I have to get to work and come back and I couldn't charge, and I usually charge my battery at work, I want to make sure that that is something I can do on this bike on the highest pedal assist for whatever emergency I might be trying to occur. That was an important factor just for me, just because as battery degradation happened, using the parts type of things will not perform at the absolute maximum. And I get that. But at absolute maximum, I feel like 20 miles on the highest pedal assist should be a very good commuter way. I don't think most people commute even 10 miles to work. If I'm not mistaken, most people commute more 5 miles to work. And by me commuting 10, that was something that was truly important to me. After all of that, I talked about the screen. We could talk about the app and how well that does. The app is truly one of a kind. It functions. You got over there update. It connects to the bike. You can track your rides. They have a very good community on the app where you can kind of just let people know, oh, I did this ride. Very good. If that's something you're into, it has their own social media in the app. The app does tell you when there's maintenance to be done on the bike or suggested maintenance. It'll tell you when to maybe even replace your parts. It'll tell you even when you reach the end of what's so-called the battery life and it's time to upgrade to a new battery or change to a new battery. Aventon has been using more of the same battery platform for most of their commuter or most of their bike. And I think that's truly important because that means that that battery will be around for a duration of time. And if you're gonna be planning on using this bike the way I use it, that is a very important thing. Now, I didn't ride it up multiple hills. I go under bridges and come up, and it does pretty good. I haven't rode it up any mountain or anything like that. That's not the way I'm going to be using this bike, so I don't feel like my review should recover something that I truly don't do. My review is going to be covering the commuter part of it, and for a commuter bike, it is absolutely amazing. It gets the big fella stamp of approval. This tech has really blown me away. I'm super happy with my purchases. It was a great buy. I would fully recommend to anybody, especially those who big and are looking for an e-bike, to looking for some way to start trying to commute, to try to get some exercise in your life, right? I understand you can get a regular mountain bike and you can bike that, but some people, unfortunately, it can't quite do that. And this is a stepping stone from not being able to do that. Now, this bike is on the pricier side. It's unfortunately it costs around $2,000, and you can get the level 3. Let's say somebody is not as big as me. I think the level 3 is even better. Now, if you just want that look at that fat tire e-bike, then the Aventon 3, the Adventure 3 is gonna be your bread and butter. But if you just want that commuter e-bike, I think the level 3 will fit most people's qualms with no issues at all. This is just specifically to when you're a big guy and you're trying to bike and you're just trying to find ways to introduce regular exercise into your everyday life. And that is very important when you're trying to stay healthy, lose weight, and have trying to be better every day. All right, so let's talk about some of the cons with this bike, which I don't really have a lot. As somebody who might not review every single e-bike, the battery life could be longer, but for the most part, I think that is perfectly fit. I think being able to do exactly if I need to do more miles, I just turn down the pedal assist. If I want to ride this and get a full exercise out of it, I can literally turn it on pedal assist one to just help me deal with the weight because that is a con of e-bike. They typically weigh a lot. They cost way more money than what you might have spent for a normal bike. And sometimes that can deter people from actually going to get those bikes. But you gotta understand that's just how it works. E-bikes are kind of not necessarily a newer technology, but it's a new technology and therefore it's still being developed. And for higher developed technology, you're always gonna pay more to try to get those technologies kind of where you want them to be. Another con of this bike is repairs are gonna cost you a lot. Because it's a fat tire e-bike, that means the tires are gonna cost you more, the setup is gonna cost you more, it's just more expensive, and that's gonna have to be something that you just unfortunately have to deal with. I don't know if you can consider this a con, but if you look at other e-bikes out there, Wire, I think Veltrax, some of those bikes have maximum speed of like 45, 35. You can get on the road and travel just as fast as the car. This one follows the law. And you may consider that a bad thing if you want to go faster, but that's a really good thing when you might start having to worry about police or anything like that, law enforcement just checking on your bike. And maybe that's not a big thing for me at the current moment, but that does not mean down the line it won't be. And I want my e-bike to last well over 5 or 6 years. The only thing I want to have to purchase on the e-bike after 5 or 6 years is maybe a hub motor and or the battery for the bike. That is my full review of the Adventure Level 3. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. Let me know, would you get this bike if you had the opportunity? Would you commute to work using an e-bike? Let me know in the comment section below. Like, subscribe. If you don't like this video, dislike this video. And if you dislike it, just let me know in the comment section below why you dislike it. I will see you guys in another video. Peace.